And I tell you this, my breakout moment in broadcasting was in Winnipeg doing the Wednesday Lottery with Don Whitman, and my favorite author. You can see there's a lot of books in behind me here. My favorite author is from Steinbach, Manitoba. Her name is Miriam Taves, and she moved up. Great story about Miriam. Her father, Mel, ran a school in Steinbach, but on weekends for pin money, he would sell his eggs up in Winnipeg. He would drop off containers of eggs. So at one point, he was getting ready to marry a woman named Elvira, who would be Miriam Taves, the author's mom. And he wanted to build a house just like one he'd seen in Winnipeg dropping off eggs. So Elvira says, well, what's it like inside? He says, well, I have no idea. I just drop the eggs on the veranda and I move on. She said, well, you got to look inside to see if it's a house worth building. He says, I can't ask to go inside. I'm an egg deliverer. She said, leave it to me. So they go up to Winnipeg from Steinbach. She knocks on the door and says, do you mind if we have a look around? My husband here, Mel, wants to build a home just like this in Steinbach, and it will be our new wedding gift. And the guy says, come on in. It was Bill Mosienko. Bill Mosienko holds the record for the fastest hat trick in NHL history. He scored 3 goals in 21 seconds. And that just proves he's a good egg. Oh, sorry, there's a pun.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
Have you ever seen a coach, whether it be on a football life or any sports that you've played, come into the room after a win and said, guys or gals, great win, but we didn't win by enough, so go run the stairs? Said no coach ever. Shut up with that.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Happy Monday. Yes, it is. Thank you, Rick Regan. And I tell you what, I make a lot of predictions. Not all of them come true, probably less than half. But I can guarantee you, you're going to really love the next 2 hours. And you're going to see why in a minute. I'm in the South Florida studio. The Moose is here. And this guarantee will be a lot better than our weekend picks, Moose. Just so you know, I went back and I looked at our deal or no deal for the NFL games on Friday. I don't think you want to know. Do you pay attention on Sunday when the games are going on, and do you remember whether you took the point spread or not? Do you remember what you picked? You must.
I do. I don't watch it thinking about it, but if I went back right now and like, oh no, I probably got that one. The NFL is so difficult to predict because we sit here on social, not you and I necessarily, but we want to say, they're terrible. The Browns are awful. This team's the best. You know what I mean? It's the NFL. It's pro football. You know, these are good football teams, regardless of how bad they may appear at times. So, yeah, it's so unpredictable.
It's not just that. It's every sport, Darren. You know that as well as I do. And as we found out, NHL, you throw in a backup goalie, that changes everything. Or a weather event like what went on in Montreal on Saturday. Very hard to predict. And I will be thinking probably till the end of time or my time on this earth about that comment from that trucker from Wolseley last weekend. I don't know if you remember. Yeah, you were watching when I told you, Chad Bieber, he said he downloads the show and he's a trucker and he listens and he goes, my favorite day is Monday because I listened to Friday's show and hear how much you guys were wrong. Oh, I love it. Can you hit the quick six show horn, please, Director Gordon or whomever's? The guests today are Canada's foremost NFL insider, Jim Lang, and also Andy Hnilo. He's our baseball analyst, was a big-time baseball player at one time, also the founder and CEO of Alitura Skincare, which, by the way, brings you our text line, 902-518-3033 every day, Alitura Skincare. You'll be hearing from them throughout the program. When I said I guarantee you're going to love this show, Aaron in Port Hardy, BC writes in. I love Mondays because I open up the text line because I don't take this phone with me all weekend. I have not opened it since Friday's show. Aaron from Port Hardy, BC writes in. He says, I love your show, Rod Pedersen and Moose. So I took the liberty, Darren, if you don't mind. I wrote him back and I said, thank you, buddy. We love you too. Is that okay that I responded on your behalf?
Nice.
You know, so
Yes.
there's just so much crap flying around and hate and stuff online that when a guy's got to come out and say, I love what you do, let's acknowledge that and throw him some love too. That's why I said, I would hope this makes people feel good. I know that it makes me feel good. And before we actually get down to business, Darren, I know you had a very, very, very busy weekend. You called 1 or 2 football games.
Just one.
Okay. And then you flew across the country and you hosted an OHL game in Ontario. So you did a football game in Saskatchewan, went across and did an OHL game in Ontario. So kudos for you for showing up today. I appreciate you for doing that. Saturday
Thank
for
you.
me, just before we get down to serious business, was, you know this, once a year, I'm calling it a summit. We have a summit here in South Florida with my friends. And if you follow my social media, you'll see evidence of them. I'm not lying here. It's a summit. Agents, presidents, owners, founders. I have no idea why they like me or why they invite me. But this weekend was that. And it was a bit of a surprise because I was going out for supper with just one of them and I show up and boom, the rest of them are there. Surprise! I showed up early. They're like, you got here too early. So we had a good time. These guys, I'm not in their sphere, but I guess I am. But I don't feel like I'm in their world. But they've been inviting me for 4 straight years now, and we'll talk about that more. But that was kind of my weekend, and they're sports heavyweights. Okay, so I got a lot of lowdown. I got a lot of intel on a lot of things, but more than anything, we had big fun this weekend. So I kind of checked out of the world, and now, though, can you hit the quick 6 show horn, please, Director Jordan? It is Jordan, right, Clark? I was hanging out with, it's Steven. It's Tuna Turner. Okay, I didn't know who the director was. Doesn't matter, I guess. We'll start, Darren, with NFL. It was a statement Sunday for Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, Josh Allen and the Bills, and Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. The Eagles and Bills cruised to double-digit victories, getting the heat off them. The Commanders needed a miracle on the final play, but they won over the Bears. And Brock Purdy threw a touchdown pass and ran for another to send the San Francisco 49ers into their bye week at a high note with a 30-24 win over the Dallas Cowboys on primetime football Sunday night. This is why I'm smiling, Darren. I didn't prepare you that this is coming, but I think you can handle it. You're a smart kid. It's in my commentary today. You understand, I hope people understand that the season of your favorite team is a book. It's not a series of short stories. It's not 17 games in the NFL or 82 games in the NHL. It's a book. It's a story. It weaves. And there's chapters that are going to make you cry. There's chapters that are going to make you laugh. And we don't know what's in the end. We don't know. That's why we keep reading. You understand that, right, people? I hope that, because that's what it is. It's not a RP theory here. So I'm thinking about the Cowboys. I'm smiling because I'm wondering, for all the audience, what kind of story is your team's season? Is it a mystery? Is it a murder mystery? Is it a horror story that would, like put Halloween to shame? Or Nightmare on Elm Street? Or is it the Dallas Cowboys? It's like Archie comics. It's funny. It's funny. To see Dak Prescott throw the ball up like he did, and that chuck and duck like he did last night, it got picked off. I'm like, it's comical now. So the Cowboys season, and the Dolphins here who lost to, if I may, Darren, the Dolphins book is that 2 chapters in, you didn't like what you read, so you closed it and you're not even going to. That's what the Dolphins season has been. So whether for you, because my team, really the only team that I get invested in is the Cowboys. Yours is the Leafs, the Titans, and whoever else. I don't know. Everybody, what type of book is your team's season? I'd love to know. What's yours, Moose?
Oh boy, I'm trying to think of a good book. The one thing that's coming to mind is a TV show, and it's Super Dave Osborne for the Titans. Everything looks like you finally got. He's got all the safety procedures. He's got all the safety procedures in check. He's got everything in check. This is going to be the time everything's going smooth. Boom, car wreck every single time. You know, you look at the Titans game yesterday, and I watched it.
That's good.
52 to 14 against the Detroit Lions. And when I tell you that for most of that game, Tennessee outplayed Detroit, okay? Outplayed them. Mason Rudolph moved the ball up and down the field with ease. Calvin Ridley had over 100 yards receiving in the first half. But we kicked the ball to Detroit. They run it all the way back to our 20, 2-play touchdown. We give them the football, 1 play, 70-yard touchdown run. Everything else is good, and then it's the car wreck out of nowhere. So you can't do it to good teams, but that's what yesterday's game was.
Like I said, you're a smart kid. I knew you'd figure it out. Maybe it's not a storybook. I mean, I'm a big reader. I had planned on spending all weekend reading Doug McLean's book, Draft Day, and the guys with my summit took it in another direction, and that's totally fine. But if you want to say it's a TV show, it's a movie, whatever you want, what is your season like? Tony from Cochrane checks in. George Fox country says, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. The Ravens are who we thought we were.
How about that?
Go Winston. Woof, woof, woof. Yeah, the Browns won. I don't know. What would that's the Browns is that book that you open? It's a pop-up book. Surprise! You thought it was going one way, and then it didn't. Surprise! Jeremy writes in. He says, the Chiefs season, battle injuries, next man up mentality, screw the stats, just stack win. That's Jeremy on his Kansas City Chiefs. Hey, I was listening to Dan Patrick this morning, and I kind of got a kick out of it. There are a few people that command as much respect as Dan Patrick, right, in this industry of ours. Yeah. But he was saying how Patrick Mahomes, because he's not going to throw 50 touchdowns anymore. He's not even going to throw 40 touchdowns anymore, but he's going to do what it takes to win. I'm like, is he washed up already? Is he even 30? Is Mahomes even 30? He's got 3 Super Bowls, and they're like, he's not what he used to be. Okay. Shy writes in, and he says, I love the show and the revelry of the Bombers Riders trash talk. I'm getting to the CFL. I purposely put that third in the point list. We can spend more time on it a little later. I have decided and announced it last week. I'm back on the Rider train. It's good for business. It benefits me to support the Riders and cheer for them. It benefits them for me to support and cheer for them. And more than anything, because of my good fan friends across the league, because we're mature enough, like the sports doctor in Winnipeg, my guy Jack in Calgary, you name it. It's more fun. It's more fun to have the back and forth. Like if or Kevin the Medium with his BC Lions. Paint me the green guy. It's good for business. We'll get to the CFL in a second because they are looking for a new commissioner, and I could talk about that all day. Point 2, though, is when we move on to the NHL. I hope you're hungry, Darren, because we have a lot of leftovers coming out of the week. A lot of leftovers. Logan O'Connor scored at 13:29 of the third period to snap a 2-2 tie. Colorado Avalanche went on to beat the Ottawa Senators 5-4. Here's one. If any of you people in America that get the NHL network, I feel like they've changed something. For the last couple of years, Darren, they've put cameras in a rink, but called the game from their studio in New Jersey. I never liked that. I've had my friends calling those games. It's not the same. Last night, they just picked up the Detroit broadcast. Mickey Redmond and Ken Daniel. As old school as it gets. Right? And Neon Leon, on his 29th birthday, scored his second goal of the game, 18 seconds into overtime. The Oilers edged the Red Wings 3-2. And again, I watched the Red Wings broadcast. I'd rather you picked up that local feed than had 2 people in a boardroom in Secaucus, New Jersey, calling the game. I know they didn't ask, but I'm offering it. In Philadelphia, Cole Caulfield scored his 8th goal of the season and helped the Canadiens clip the Flames 4-3. And if I may, my game of the weekend was Jets-Flames Saturday night. Winnipeg Jets beating the Flames 5-3. I don't know where you were or if you watched it, but what I will say this, the Calgary Flames aren't anywhere near in the same league as the Winnipeg Jets. They couldn't keep up to them. They kept it close for quite a while, but the Jets are all that. That's my biggest takeaway from the NHL weekend. What's yours?
Well, the Jets keep rolling. I think that's big, and they come into tonight, and it's going to be the featured game on prime Monday Night Hockey in Canada, Leafs and Jets. And, in Toronto, what's interesting is they're 4-4-1 coming into the Monday night game against the 8-0 Jets. And this will be a real great test for both of these teams. But I can't tell you who it was on my social media feeds on the weekend, but they went back and looked at all the starts over the last 4, 5, 6 seasons of the Toronto Maple Leafs under Sheldon Keefe, now under Craig Berube. And typically through 9 games, this team has been 500, playing 500 hockey every step of the way. They seem to really find their legs in that second, part of the season, that second stretch, second quarter. So everybody's jumping off the Craig Berube bandwagon almost too early, but this is normal for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah. 2 weeks into the season, and they're on and off the bandwagon. It is exhausting. By the way, the poll question is for our friends at EMJ Marketing. They'll find the perfect keynote speaker for your event. Transform your audience with powerful presentations from EMJ Marketing's elite speakers. Check out their website for more information, emjmarketing.com. There are 8 games in the NHL tonight. We've whittled it down to 4. What's the game of the night in the National Hockey League? Running away with it is the Leafs and Jets on Prime Monday. I get it. I didn't vote for it. I voted for Tampa Bay home to Nashville and the return of Steven Stamkos. It's the one I'll be following the most, and it's the one I'm the most interested in. Other options on the poll are the Oilers at the Blue Jackets, the Flames at the Golden Knights. But running away with it is the Jets and Leafs again on Amazon Prime or whatever the heck that they call it. When we come back, a little World Series, a lot of CFL. Bomber Boy writes in all caps, Darren. He says, Ambrosi retires. Rod supports the Riders. Coincidence? Major
Bob's your uncle.
Total coincidence. Oh, Brent in Wellington, Florida says, the Cowboys are a little more like Groundhog's Day. My name is Bob. LOL. Same team, same story. I wouldn't dispute that. Overall, it's a stack of comic books, the Dallas Cowboys. It's so much like Groundhog's Day that if I wasn't going to cry, if I wasn't laughing, I would be crying. So I'd rather just laugh at it. Don't get me going. Like I say, Dak. Chuck, he didn't even look to see if the pass was complete. Picked off, fumbling the ball. They're a joke. They're a joke. I told you what we got when we come back, so just hang on. I want to also tell you that hour 1 of the program is brought to you by Culligan. Drink clean, live green. Filter your water for a healthier tomorrow. Culligan Water of Regina. Visit CulliganRegina.com. We'll be right back on the Game Plus TV network. We're live across all of Canada, 31 U.S. states on TV, on the radio in Atlanta, WQEE, streaming live on YouTube, and, of course, Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit. As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
The 80s Club, live in Moose Jaw. Honeymoon Suite, along with a flock of seagulls. Men without hats. And spoons. All together for one night at Moose Jaw Event Center, Saturday, November 16th. Tickets on sale now at sastix.ca or the Moose Jaw Event Center box office.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Ladies and germs, our text line is brought to you by Alitura. As sports fans, there's nothing we love more than a comeback. In the game against wrinkles, scars, and acne, it's never too late to revitalize your skin with Alitura Naturals. Check out their website, alitura.com. Use promo code RP20 for a 20% off discount now. I am in the South Florida studio. As you see, Moose is in the Toronto studio. Hey, I appreciate my guy Chris from the Bronx watching. He writes in, he says, good start to the shows. I hear his voice when I read his text. He goes, rooting for the New York Giants is like Roy Scheider in Jaws. Going to leave that there. He says Jaws. Rooting for the New York Giants is like Jaws.
How about that?
And I have a few other messages. Monty in Saskatoon would like to know, Moose, how's your coffee?
It's tea today. It's tea with some vitamins and minerals in here. I had coffee this morning. That's good.
Okay. I'm having Panera hazelnut blend. Do you people in Canada have Panera? Do you have Panera in Canada?
We
I can't
do.
remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
Out here in the east, I don't know if it's in the west. It's not in the rectangle, but it's out here in Toronto.
Okay. There ain't nothing like Tim Hortons, but Panera is the closest to our house, and you saw me in there this morning. We were on a video conference this morning. There's a lot of blue hairs in there this morning. Before I jump to the CFL, just a quick one. Point 3, Shohei Ohtani is set to play for the Dodgers in Game 3 of the World Series at Yankee Stadium in New York tonight, despite a partially dislocated left shoulder. Skipper Dave Roberts says pain tolerance will be key. Dodgers lead the Yankees 2-0 in the best-of-7 series. I just want to say one quick thing. Maybe Chris from the Bronx, who clearly is watching, can help me out with this, or anybody that's a baseball aficionado. Aaron Boone, the Yankees manager, is getting hammered on for their loss in Game 1, giving it to Freddie Freeman. First ever walk-off grand slam in World Series history. Feels like it was a month ago. What exactly did Aaron Boone do wrong other than bringing in the reliever Cortez with a 3-2 lead in the ninth? Why are they hammering on Boone? Of all these things to keep track of, I'm enjoying the World Series, but an Aaron Boone mistake is not something I'm keeping track of, nor college football and all the myriad of other things. Why is Aaron Boone under the gun? Chime in with that, folks, if you will, because there's a lot of
question.
Sorry, go ahead. You don't. Yeah,
no, it's a good question.
You were
because
calling.
That's the.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, Dave Roberts did the same thing in Game 2 when the Yankees loaded the bases in the 9th inning and then, gave up the run and got 2 outs and then made the change. And, they got the fly ball out and, got the game won. But, yeah, I'm not really sure. Maybe Clark knows.
And don't tell us now because we got to move on. A lot of CFL fans have showed up today because it's the most important time of the year for them. I'm just saying, is this a case of everybody's bashing Boone because that's the thing to do in the world now? Or did he really screw up? We'll get to that later because this show moves. It bangs. We got to move on. Point 4, the Saskatchewan Roughriders' hopes of finishing first in the CFL West Division ended Saturday afternoon when the visiting Winnipeg Blue Bombers clinched top spot by beating the Montreal Alouettes 28-27 on a last-second 51-yard field goal on the final play. Bombers won in Montreal, which I predicted they would. Boom, Bob's your uncle. Bombers get first.
Bob's
so the
your
Riders
uncle?
face
How about
Calgary
that?
later. Riders faced Calgary later that night in a game that turned out to be meaningless, and they played like it. Riders lost 27-12 to the Stamps, who had only won 4 times all season. It was Calgary's lone road win of the year, I guess. So now the East and West semifinals are set for next Saturday. It's Ottawa at Toronto in the East, BC at Saskatchewan in the West, and missing the playoffs are Edmonton, Calgary, and Hamilton. But I have written in all caps, Randy Ambrosie. In the middle of my Saturday afternoon, I actually got a text from Arash Madani, who broke the story, our friend from Sportsnet, that Randy Ambrosie was out. And I would later, the commissioner of the CFL, who's been the commissioner since 2017, I've said for years I support the guy. I see the people are writing in here saying, why is there so much hate towards Randy Ambrosie? What have I been saying all show? There's a lot of hate everywhere. So it's just the thing. Let's dump on Aaron Boone. Let's dump on Randy Ambrosie. Let's dump on, Deshaun Watson deserves it. But you know what me dumping on Dak Prescott. That's just a thing to dump on people. So we can talk about these playoff matchups. We've got all week to do that, Darren. But we could sit here and talk about Randy Ambrosie. My weekend column, the very popular 10 weekend things, went pretty deep into this. The reports are that Randy Ambrosie's not retiring. They're saying he's retiring or stepping down, but that's what all of us that have been fired say. I was told the board voted 5-4 against keeping him. Canadian Football League Board of Governors. Leading the way, Larry Tannenbaum, the chairman of MLSE. I don't need to explain what MLSE is. So then we can look back at Randy Ambrosie's legacy, which I'm not sure even today is the day to do that. Maybe years in advance we can look forward or back and say this is what he was known for. I'd like to say he's known for establishing private and good secure ownership with the BC Lions, Edmonton Elks, Montreal Alouettes. Pretty big deal. They didn't expand on his what. Trying to bring in global players never did understand that. That was a flop. So it's murky. His legacy is murky. And as far as looking ahead to who the next commissioner would be, I hope it's Mike Morreale. I talked to Mike Morreale, the 2-time Grey Cup champion with the Argos, Ticats, now the commissioner of the CEBL. You've been around me and Morreale. You know we're good friends. He's already applied twice and been turned down twice. So Mike made it clear they're going to have to call him now if they want him. And if they hire Morreale, that'd be a good thing for me. Very good thing for me. That's what I hope they do. What's your take on Ambrosie leaving the CF?
Yeah, the legacy is one that we don't really can't really pinpoint what he's going to hang his hat on when it comes to the Canadian Football League legacy. Navigated the league through COVID. Some will say not successfully with the asking for money situation. But coming out of the pandemic, we'll give him and the league credit for the way they've been able to bounce back these last couple of seasons. Because last year, this year, the product on the field has been really good. And things have been largely good in the league. I don't profess to know what's going on financially, behind closed doors or the financial health of the league. But on the field, the product has been excellent the last 2 years. So they've got that back to a respectable place. Whether Randy's responsible for that or not, But the one thing that, you wonder about the league is, we always want to have the best commissioner that's going to put the league in the best place going forward. But we also need to find some longevity at the position. That's always been something this league has been asking for and the fans have been looking for. When you look at the other pro sports league, we talk about the commissioners' terms in terms of decades, not in terms of years. 5, 6, Randy's case, I think 7 years. We're talking about decades for Gary Bettman and Roger Goodell. And we'd love the CFL to have that. At this point, we can't have a logo available for decades, let alone a commissioner of the league. But it would be great to find that consistency and somebody who loves the league and will stick with it for 20, 30 years.
Well, and God bless the CFL fans that show up here that, nobody talks about it as much as we do. I don't think anybody talks about it as openly and honestly as we do. Kirk in Toronto writes in and he says, hey, Rod, was Randy Ambrosie pushed out or did he leave on his own? And who would you like to see as CFL commissioner? I think we've covered that. I mean, they were the only big-time league that didn't play during COVID in 2020. I didn't like that. I don't really think it's Randy's decision either. And I think that hurt them significantly. And if you're Morreale, don't think he's not sitting back going, we can all see the CEBL is on an upwards trajectory. Is the CFL plateaued, going down or up? We don't know. We don't know. We'd like to believe it. I don't believe it's on the way up. But if you're Morreale, it's like, do I want to change horses? Where are these leagues going? This is not a slam dunk for Mike Morreale to jump from the CEBL to the CFL because the CEBL is doing great things. I'm not sure that the CFL is. I'm with you. Like, I don't want to hear about bank statements either, by the way. I just want to watch the games. I made that very clear earlier this season. I'm not following league business. You don't get the straight answer. I'm with you. The games have been great. Maybe that's a great tribute to Randy Ambrosie that has the quality of play ever been better. I don't know. John in London writes and he says, hey, Rod, I'm watching on Rogers Game Plus. Leafs fan, the movie is Groundhog's Day. Rod, your show always picks me up. Rod, your show always picks me up, though. That's what I want to do here. At least make you feel good for a couple hours out of the day. Larry in Medicine Hat says, not a good week for the Rough Riders or Vikings fans. Wins and twisted heads, he says. This is what I don't like about the Rider situation. Everybody's like, oh, now they didn't have first, and they didn't get a chance to play for first. Again, it's in my column. What are you bitching about? This is what I would say as a guy that's overcome considerable obstacles in my life. If I was the Riders when they saw Winnipeg clinch first earlier in the day, well, this road's going to be a little longer, but we're still going to get there. You know what I mean? Oh, no, it's not a 50-50 shot to get to the ground. Okay, what do we do now, boys? Yeah, we just got to win at home against BC and go to Winnipeg and win. That's all we got to do. Is that not the way you would look at it?
Yeah. You look at every time the Riders, and I brought this up before on this show, 1966, I believe they finished first and won the Grey Cup. That's it. All the other Grey Cups, they didn't finish first. This has been typically the Riders' path towards winning a Grey Cup, has been doing it from this spot. And, they play pretty good at home in the home playoff games. The record's pretty good. It's a winning record when it comes to home playoff games, and they're going to get one this weekend. So you have to like the Riders' chances. And then you go to Winnipeg and, anything can happen when you play against, your rivals. So it's going to be fun. There's a home playoff game this week. Everything should be turning towards it being an up week because you got to be excited. The second that crazy ending, Winnipeg, Montreal, with the wind changing as it did and the shank punt and all the rest, wild. That's football gods doing something there, like big time. But, when that happened, the Riders made the decision that we're not trying to win this football game. We're going to play other guys. We're going to keep our guys healthy because we got to play in a week.
Gary in Penticton, BC, Gary with 2 R's. I just wanted to read this before we run. He goes, the Canucks are winning without Demko. Well, that's something to certainly be positive about. That's a surprising book. The Canucks are 4-1-2. I had to look it up, but I think they got their first win here in Sunrise in overtime over the Panthers. So, and I just remember the sky was falling in Vancouver. I'm old enough to remember that the sky was falling in Vancouver when that happened, Darren. I remember that. I'll see you in hour 2, okay?
See you then.
Get your NFL questions in. Canada's foremost NFL expert, Jim Lang, joins us next. We're live on Game Plus TV, WQEE Radio, streaming live on YouTube daily, and, of course, Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Race is on and here comes pride in the backstretch.
Celebrate 40 years of Sawyer Brown.
Some girls don't like boys like me.
With Shenandoah.
You got to get me to the church on the Cumberland Road.
Plus special guest George Fox. Saturday, October 26th, Moose Jaw Event Center.
I'll take the dirt road.
Tickets are on sale now at the Moose Jaw Event Center box office or online at sasktix.ca.
6 days on the road and I'm
Sawyer Brown and Shenandoah live.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
From cash spiels to grand slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Episode 1 launches November 1st.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
RP Show continues. Sports fans join the Rod Squad newsletter today. Stay ahead of the game with exclusive insights, updates, contests, and exclusive content delivered straight to your inbox. Sign up for free today at rodpeterson.com. Quality broadcasters Jim Lang. He joins us on this Monday to talk NFL Week 8. And Jim, I'm just going to, in the most broadest of terms, ask you, what are your takeaways so far as we lead up to the Monday nighter tonight, Giants at Steelers?
Well, I have to tell you, I've been so impressed with the Houston Texans and C.J. Stroud. I mean, I thought he was good. He's just consistently doing so well and improving bit by bit. The Detroit Lions, there's nothing fluky about what Dan Campbell has built in Detroit. They are a legit juggernaut football team, hanging 50 plus on the Titans. The Bills, to win in Seattle is not easy. To win like that, very impressive. Quietly, Denver and Sean Payton are putting together a solid season. But that ending of Washington, the Hail Mary, how it came together, is a real lesson for all athletes out there that you play to the very, very final whistle. And they had a defensive back celebrating and taunting the crowd in Washington, the Commanders fans, and he was out of position for the winning touchdown. And traditionally, the day after a football game, the team gathers and watches the film. It's going to be awfully silent in that room in Chicago, knowing that DB, because of his selfishness, and wanting to celebrate, wanting to make it all about him and not playing to the final whistle, cost the Bears a game they should have won.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I'm wondering, too, where in the NFL, because you've been covering it for so long and so closely, is that breakaway point with the separation where the teams, the seasons are over, it's over, and teams are gearing up? I know the trade deadline's November 5th, which is like a week away. But who's a legit contender now? Who's separated themselves? I mean, I don't think we had Washington leading the division, or at least I didn't. You got some competition with the Eagles, of course. But where's that point? Where's that point, that breakaway point?
We are about 3 or 4 weeks away. Now, a lot of coaches and personnel people and players will say the real NFL season starts on U.S. Thanksgiving, which is about a month away. But to be honest with you, we're about a couple weeks away from a few teams that will be just too deep in a hole to climb out of. And this is why the Cincinnati Bengals losing to the Eagles really, really hurts their playoff chances. They'd have to go on a monumental run to have a chance of the postseason, where the Eagles, now, after all the criticism for Nick Sirianni and the Eagles, are putting together, starting to stack wins and get back to playing their kind of football. The Jets are done. It's over. It's been a complete debacle with Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. I think Green Bay is starting to think that they have something special there, winning despite some of their injuries. Arizona, a huge win for the Cardinals. I think they're one of the teams on the cusp, as you talk about. They lose that game yesterday. Now they start maybe thinking of next year. The way they won that game, now they're starting to think maybe we have a shot. Maybe we do something at the deadline. So we're a couple weeks away from a couple teams being declared completely out of it. But there's a few teams based on their wins yesterday. Atlanta, I think definitely Arizona. They're looking at it like, you know what? We're just right there. We're a couple wins away from being playoff contenders in their respective divisions.
Well, you know, it's funny you say that, because do teams go into the season thinking if we just win our division, we'll be fine, and then go from there because you know that's going to clinch you a playoff berth, or is that not the way that they look at it?
Well, you win your division, you have a home playoff game. You have a home playoff game, but that's a huge advantage, especially depending on where you play. If you're the Buffalo Bills, you're the Green Bay Packers, and you're playing in early January at home, even if you're a 10-win team, that is a huge, huge advantage. And the Baltimore Ravens, if they win that division and that AFC North with their running game and Derrick Henry, and it gets pretty nasty weather in early January in Baltimore, that's a big advantage, Rod. So, yeah, yes, you'd like home field ideally throughout the playoffs and be the number one seed. But barring that, you're like, hey, let's win our division. Let's get a home playoff game, because then we win that home playoff game, anything can happen. You know, I heard you guys talking earlier about how the Saskatchewan Roughriders traditionally don't win the league and then go on to win the Grey Cup. And in recent memory, we've had a number of teams in the NFL who have been wild card teams or just have one home playoff game and have had to go on the road the rest of the way and win it. And so, yeah, I'm a big believer. You can get that one home playoff game. That's big. And that's why, I mean, it's big for San Francisco yesterday to have a shot at their division, to win that game yesterday against a very, very disappointing Dallas Cowboys team. How the San Francisco 49ers, with all their injuries, were able to score 30 points and run the way they did against Dallas. I honestly don't know what Jerry Jones is thinking, how that team is built, how they allowed that many yards on the ground and simply couldn't run themselves. I mean, it's one of those head scratchers. I mean, they're a couple of years ago, even the last year, their defense was much stouter than that. And Mike McCarthy and Jerry Jones and the Cowboys, I'm sorry to tell you, Rod, they've got a mess on their hands.
Not telling me anything I don't know. Over the last couple of weeks, it's shocking to me that people have just found out that Jerry Jones is a narcissist. We're just discovering there's no plan. Dalvin Cook, Ezekiel Elliott, there's no plan. But I could have told you that. None of this surprises me, therefore I'm not even upset. But Ryan in upstate New York, Cardinal Ryan writes in, he says, "Good day, Rod Squad. Pack it up. At one Jets drive, time to start another rebuild under Woody Johnson. As for me, it's time to concentrate on hockey." He's a Devils fan. Listen, this firing of Robert Saleh not only didn't work on the long term, it ain't working on the short term. What a debacle. You want to talk about messes.
It all started in the offseason. They should have signed Hassan Reddick because he was so important to the defense, and they messed around with his contract, and they missed some important games, and he would have been so useful that first month of the season. And then, the story around the league that won't go away is Aaron Rodgers is running the New York Jets. I don't care how good of a player you are. You can't run a football team. You can't run a hockey team. You can't run a baseball team. You're either a coach or a GM or a player. And that goes back to Dallas. Jerry Jones is the owner and GM and player personnel and scout. You can't do that. And unfortunately for Jets fans, and this caller is 100% right, that already they're in rebuild, looking ahead to the draft. What do we do in the offseason? Because, there's a lot of tough questions. First of all, who's going to coach the team? The way it's constituted right now with the ownership, with the management, the influence of Aaron Rodgers, there's a lot of potential coaches would go, do I want to go there? Because the Bill Belichick free agency, the UFA, is out there, and week after week, when he's breaking down film and explaining what's going on and how it's going to happen and why it happened, I can't imagine there is an owner in the NFL looking at a coaching change, basically telling their people, contact his agent and tell him, I don't care how much money he wants, I want you to run my football team. So then Bill Belichick's going to have his choice with teams, and where he wants to go, where he thinks is the best fit. And right now, why would he go to the Jets the way it's going right now, the way Woody Johnson's running things and just the dysfunction of it? I don't think he'd want any part of that.
Who knows? Who knows what he's thinking? I guess we're going to find out. Hey, in the time we have left, I got a million NFL things for you, obviously. We'll bring you back and delve into those. Let's talk about your book. We're in the holiday gift-giving season. Talk about Everyday Hockey Heroes, please. Volume 3. Everyday Hockey Heroes, Volume 3.
Angela James, Jim Pack, remember him from the Penguins? Mark Borowiecki.
Yep.
Some great individual. There's an individual in Ontario who's made it his life mission to donate slightly used hockey equipment to Indigenous communities, not just in Ontario, but across Canada, and as far as the Northwest Territories, to make sure kids in these reservations, in these Indigenous communities, have access to hockey equipment and can play sports and play hockey. There is a chapter on that has ties to Saskatchewan. It's the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League that will wait till the book comes out next week that people will find out about. But people out west, especially in Saskatchewan and the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League, it will hit near and dear to them about the one chapter. And it's an interesting book to me. Keith Peemer writes the forward that there are so many people out there in the community, in our backyards, all across this nation, who do so much to keep hockey alive as a sport, to make it accessible to so many people, including, I'm sure you knew him as well as I do, Rob Kerr out of Calgary, Rod. And he does a lot of work with the Heroes Hockey, and he takes kids with physical disabilities, and they've created these special cages where they can hold the kids up and they can be pushed around and feel like they're playing hockey. And it's changed the lives of a lot of people, and a lot of NHLers past and present have climbed on board. And so it's shining a spotlight how they got into it, how they do it, and how they make hockey a better sport for all Canadians.
Good job, man. That sounds awesome. I can't wait to get my hands on it. Jimmy, always a great job, brother. Let's do it again soon.
Real quick, Mike Morreale, I knew him as a player, educated, a background in business, sports marketing. He's a current commissioner. The CFL, please listen to his pitch. This is the kind of individual in his 40s that could conceivably be your commissioner the next 2-3 decades. And very active in social media. And my big pet peeve with the current ownership and management and the commissioner of CFL, Randy Ambrosie, is once the season was over, the league disappeared for 5 months. But Mike Morale wouldn't allow that if he was commissioner. Hire Mike.
Hire Mike. Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Ron.
Jim Clubber Lang. We'll be right back with a sports update and viewer takeover after this on Game Plus TV, WQEE Radio, live streaming here on YouTube, and also Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
From cash spiels to Grand Slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Episode 1 launches November 1st.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
This is going to be a quickie. I probably won't have time for a sports update here. Regarding why is Aaron Boone getting roasted, the skipper of the Yankees, Chad in Lethbridge, our good guy Chad, writes in. He says, Boone should have left starter Cole in, who was rolling. He then brought in nasty Nestor Cortez, who hadn't pitched in over a month due to a pitching injury. That's why he's getting roasted. Loved watching Freddie Freeman walk off the Yankees, though. Go Dodgers. That's the thing. I kind of wondered, and did he pull him because of analytics? I assume that he did. I feel like you had to be watching to understand or get a grasp, and I wasn't watching. Brian, I'm not sure where he is. It's not coming up immediately here, but Brian writes in, he goes, he would never do it, but the best guy to be commissioner of the CFL is Wade Miller. There's a lot of comments coming in. A lot of comments coming in regarding who should be the next commissioner of the CFL. Looking back at the tenure of Randy Ambrosie here, BW in Edmonton says, if you are loved by everyone, you are doing your job wrong. I'm not sure if that's true or not. You may be right. Patrolman Pete in Winnipeg says Ambrosie did a good job navigating through the pandemic and the lost season. Carlos in Indianapolis says Ambrosie got dealt a few bad cards during his tenure. Every commissioner did. Pierre writes in, he says, would you say that the CFL governors are against expansion while Ambrosie and friends are for it? Go read my column right now, rodpeterson.com, 10 weekend things. I get more into that, Pierre, than we have time for here. From what I understand, the league is split. Some governors' teams want to expand, some don't. Randy was caught in the middle. That's the story I got the other day. The Barflies from Winnipeg writes in, he says, the CFL overall attendance has to be down. Nelson, our VP of Sim Events, says the CFL needs a marketing/broadcast guy. Keith Pelly makes some sense. Former commissioner at PGA Europe, spearheaded the NHL Rogers deal, and is the reason the Olympics are a bigger deal. He's currently the president of MLSE. There's a lot of comments have come in. It would be a massive pay cut for Keith Pelly. Can't see him wanting to do it. What'd you say, 90 or a minute, Clark? Where are we? We could probably squeeze in. Now a minute. The Winnipeg Jets put their perfect record on the line tonight as they host the Toronto Maple Leafs. Jets are 8-0. Oilers search for their third straight win as they visit Columbus. Oilers coming off a 3-2 victory at Detroit. Elsewhere, the Flames visit Vegas, and the Canucks are home to Carolina. Shohei Ohtani is set to play for the Dodgers in Game 3 of the World Series at Yankee Stadium tonight. Got a partially dislocated shoulder. LA's up 2-0. And the 1-2 Toronto Raptors aim to even their record as they host the winless Denver Nuggets at Scotiabank Arena tonight. The Miami Heat, by the way, are home to Detroit. Just throwing that out there. Sports update for Landmark Cinemas. In Landmark Cinemas now, Joker, Folie à Deux. From acclaimed writer-director Todd Phillips comes Joker, Folie à Deux, the much-anticipated follow-up to 2019's Academy Award-winning Joker. Maybe I'll go to that this afternoon. We'll see. Be right back after this brief pause.
How about that?
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the City of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at iksgameday.com.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Have you ever seen a coach, whether it be on a football life or any sports that you've played, come into the room after a win and said, guys or gals, great win, but we didn't win by enough, so go run the stairs? Said no coach ever. Shut up with that.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Thank you, Rick Regan. Thank you for joining us for daytime sports talk here on the Game Plus TV network. On the radio, WQEE in Atlanta, where I'm sure they're popping champagne corks there with the Falcons toppling the Buccaneers on Sunday. Very wild Sunday. They all are, right? Every Sunday in the fall. That is producer Clark's team, the Atlanta Falcons. I am here in the Florida studio. Moose is in the Toronto studio. Things are stabilizing. Darren had a very busy weekend broadcasting college Canadian football in Western Canada, hosting OHL hockey in Ontario, doing it all in the same place. Crazy. Good for you, Darren. Me, not too much. Did a lot of rating. Doug McLean's book. I'm enjoying that. Draft day. Had our annual summit. What did I tell you? Owners, agents, presidents, founders, we all get together once a year here in South Florida. That was this weekend. Somewhat unscheduled, but man, we uncovered a lot. And I guess before we go any further, Andy Hnilo is coming up a little later on, our baseball analyst, also the founder of Alitura Skincare, to talk about Game 3 of the World Series tonight and the way that series has gone. But Tuna Turner is directing the show. Can you hit the quick six show horn, please? Tuna Turner. What's love got to do with it?
Hell yes.
I'm sure you weren't ready for that. But here we had a lot of leftovers we've been trying to digest. NHL leftovers from the weekend. Okay, we're good. NFL leftovers, plus leading up to tonight's game. Monday Night Football, Giants at Steelers. CFL leftovers from the weekend. There's been a lot of talk about Randy Ambrosie stepping down as commissioner of the Canadian Football League. However you want to look at it, this is his last season. Who should be the next commissioner? The viewers are chiming in and listeners with their take. World Series, as I mentioned, and then NHL tonight. Here's a good point. It's our poll question today for EMJ Marketing. What's the game of the night in the NHL? The options we came up with were these. The one that's leading the poll like crazy for EMJ Marketing, they'll provide the perfect keynote speaker for your event, by the way, is the Leafs at the Jets on Prime tonight across Canada. And then the Oilers at Blue Jackets, the Flames at the Golden Knights, or here in Florida where the Lightning are home to Steven Stamkos and the Nashville Predators. It's Stammer's first return to Amalie. Should be interesting. That's got my future attention. That's what I'm voting for, but I get that not everybody is. but I do cover the NHL for the South Florida Tribune, and this is what Florida hockey fans are into. But I'm sensing, Moose, there's some consternation over the Leafs nations and a little unrest. That's what I've picked up in the last hour. What's happening?
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. I think they were expecting, Craig Berube to come in and be the coach of this team, and then all of a sudden they would be playing like the Winnipeg Jets, and that's what they, fans would love to see. But this is, we look back on it. This is pretty normal, through 9 games to be playing 500 hockey. As the season rolls along, the Leafs will find their identity. The power play has struggled early on in the season, for Toronto. So there's a few things, but I don't think there's any reason to be upset. You'll look and see what happens tonight against a really good Winnipeg Jets team. It's every game is a big game and another test for Winnipeg, but this should be a good test for both teams tonight.
This is wild in that we are actually staying on the path that I had devised. Doesn't happen that often. I.e., hour one, we look back at the weekend and the sports that was, and I've said that Flames-Jets game Saturday night on Hockey Night in Canada, I watched almost all of it, and the Flames are not in the Jets arena. They're not in the same league. I think that was shown on Saturday night. So, that, again, not that the cream is separating from the chaff. I know that's not right, but you get what I'm saying. But things are getting back to order here. And for the Jets that are 8-0, looking to go to 9-0 tonight, I would just say this, Darren. Tell me how to look at this properly, please, because I'm not. How do the record is 10-0, set by the 93 Leafs and the 06 Sabres. Neither one went on to win the Stanley Cup. So why is everybody's knickers in a knot? Why? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, but a chance to win winning the Stanley Cup is rare. So you do, chase all these different things because worrying about the Stanley Cup is going to happen come playoff time. But this is a chance to get into the record books and do something nobody else has done. And it's an opportunity for the Jets to say, we're better than everybody else because we did this. Same reason why, Leaf fans were excited for the Austin Matthews chase and trying to get 70 because nobody in a number of years had done that. And it's a reason why he's done something that McDavid hasn't done, or Sidney Crosby, or Alexander Ovechkin, for that matter, to join that club. So that's, another reason to look ahead at those things. You get excited about it. Jets fans should be excited about getting to 10, but by no means does it mean you're going to win the Stanley Cup yet.
History says that it means you won't. That's the thing. I'm just saying I can see now. Can people understand why the coaches and by some extent the players get so frustrated with the fans and the media getting excited about things that don't matter? I remember in January when the Panthers were rattling off 9, 10, 11, 12 wins in a row. Sergei Bobrovsky was here in front of the media going, it doesn't matter now. By the way, where is it? Randy from Winnipeg writes in, this is hilarious. He says, has anyone seen the Dwayne Wade statue? He said, who is that? Tonight, I mentioned the Heat are home to the Detroit Pistons. Have you seen the statue? Because I have. Not only does it not look a lot like Dwayne Wade, it looks nothing like D. Wade. Again, Darren was crisscrossing the country broadcasting games all weekend, so I don't know. Have you seen the trophy, by the way?
I've seen it.
Have you seen it? Okay.
If we can find a photo of it, would be great, because the greatest thing was all the different people that they say it looks more like. The first one, they said it looks like Lawrence Fishburne. It looks like a 90-year-old Dwayne Wade. It looks like Morgan Freeman. It looks like, it's so funny because it's bad. It's really, really bad, and will probably get redone.
Clark, if you can Google it, find it somewhere, you have free reign to throw it up on the screen at any time. I mean, you don't need to be a huge NBA fan to understand what Dwayne Wade looks like. They won, I think, 3 championships with him here. He was on all our television sets. It looks nothing like him. Somebody said he looks like a gym coach kicking people out of his gym. What were you thinking? Are you going to be able to find it, Clark, or should I move on? Thank you, Randy. Okay, he's finding it. Yeah, thank you. Randy from Winnipeg was the guy that came up with that's hilarious, man. What I tell you, we want to have some fun here on the program. BW in Edmonton, thank you for this. And Jeff, the Stamps fan, also reporting this. Sportsnet reporting that Calgary Stampeders are sticking with Dave Dickenson for 2025. And I think that, okay, he's got it. He's just going to throw this up. This Dwayne Wade. It looks nothing like Dwayne Wade. It looks like an old man. Somebody said a gym teacher kicking kids out of the gym. Get out of the gym. Get off my lawn. It looks nothing like Dwayne Wade. So,
the jersey looks like Dwayne Wade's jersey. That's about it.
I just want to say, because I watched the ceremony last week when Pat Riley was honored, the greatest Heat, the president named the court after him. I just wonder how these bosses, how did it even get passed through? You know what I'm saying? Like, this statue showed up. I would say, we're not saying that we have the statue. We're not having Dwayne Wade night until we have a statue show up that actually looks like him. I don't get how this happened. Oh, interestingly, thank you, Clark. BW says this showed up in his email. Interesting subscription service that you are on. I don't get those emails from Sportsnet about the CFL at all. But that Dave Dickenson will be back as the coach and the general manager. The other night, when we had our summit, what I say, agents, owners, presidents, founders, we do it every year in South Florida. One guy leaned across the table. At Flanagan's, we go to the high-end places. And he goes, what are the Stamps going to do? I'm like, well, they got to do something. Looks like they're doing nothing. Somebody wrote in here and asked if Dave Dickenson's head was going to roll. No, you don't do that. I saw late in the year that Dave Dickenson was involved in 230 games as a Calgary Stampeder as either a coach or player, and nobody's been associated with more games for the Stampeders than Dave Dickenson. You don't fire a guy like that, but I'm a little surprised they're not taking the coach duties away. And by the way, it's a little soon to be making that decision. It's not even 48 hours since they played. From what I hear, he had lost the room, what I heard. Oh, what's your take that they're making no changes?
Yeah, no changes in that department. I'm curious if Dave himself will make changes to his staff. And if they're not going to make a change here, are the Calgary Stampeders going to be very aggressive come free agency? And I look at BC, do they turn to the Lions to find their next quarterback and move on from Jake Mayer? What does PJ Walker's future look like? Is he the next guy? So I'm curious to see now. The changes aren't going to happen with the coach, okay? Then I'm expecting some big changes with the roster, but we'll see what they do.
Okay. 1:11 Eastern, 11:11 Mountain. You got that button, Tuna or Clark?
Beautiful.
Maybe if you are the Calgary Stampeders or their fans, envision a positive outcome. You're going to have. You got no choice. I'm settling in here trying to figure out how this crazy world is going and just how to navigate it, as we all are. But it's like used to be in sports, if you made a mistake, you paid. That's the way it was. And they whiffed on Jake Mayer. They whiffed. See what I'm saying? Who's walking the plank for that? Will somebody walk the plank that we don't see? You know what I mean? Like I'm just saying, but it's changed. And what was the quote from Dickenson coming out of the weekend? We've declined as an organization. So what I've realized, Darren, watching Mike Florio or listening to him every morning on Pro Football Talk is it's okay to not have all the answers. It's okay to not be in the boardroom. It's probably a better thing to not be breaking stories because it really upsets a lot of people. But there's got to be room for guys like you and me to be allowed to speculate. You know what I mean? And because I don't really want to know what's going on, but I know what I see. And something needs to change. And what you're saying is, well, it has to. So if it's not going to change around the boardroom or on the sidelines, then it's going to have to on the field. So you're saying either one of Vernon Adams or Nathan Rourke's quarterback in Calgary next year. Am I hearing you properly?
Yeah, I could see that. That would be where my attention would be going.
Okay. Hey, the floor is open, everybody. I just want to have fun today, starting early for the week, isn't it? Just have fun.
Oh, yeah.
902-518-3033. Why do you think we love this job so much? Jeff the Stamps fan says, I guess Huff and Dave deserve the benefit of the doubt one more year. But is the pressure ever on in 2025? I respect Jeff the Stamps fan immensely. He may or may not believe that. And the viewers, too, because we just throw the most insane amount of crap at each other. But I will say he speaks for Stamps fans. This is what I say, though. I was thinking about this on the weekend. When the guy walks out the door, Belichick's out the door with the Patriots, and look where they are. This week's winner for the Jets notwithstanding. Nick Saban walks out the door. Where's Alabama? Well, they're in the top 25. They're not in the top 3. They'll make the 12-team playoff, I think, but they're not. Roll Tide. You know what I mean? And it just, I think the longer Huff is around in Calgary, you got to rip the Band-Aid off. That's where the Flames have been in such a quagmire forever. Look at Vegas. Look at, I don't know, what's Belichick or Pete Carroll doing in Seattle? I'm not sure if he's around or not, but I think he's out. They got to go.
Pete Carroll's at USC, and
go.
I think he's teaching.
Okay, so he's not there. Brent from Wellington, Florida writes in and says, can anyone stop the Lions? Yeah, the Lions themselves. No, I had a Kansas City, Detroit. It's already all off there. Brent writes in regarding the National Football League. I said the floor is open for whatever you'd like to talk about. I said a Kansas City, Detroit Super Bowl. I'm not moving off that. What was your Super Bowl pick? I can't remember.
Did I have Detroit, Baltimore? I can't remember who I picked now at the beginning of the year. Because honestly, I'm so good at not looking back. I look forward, but we got to look it up.
We'll take a timeout and be back with more. Whatever you'd like to talk about. And tonight's NHL game of the night, I've got Stamkos' return to Tampa. You know it's a pretty big deal. But everybody's voting for the Leafs and the Jets, and I understand that too. Game 3 of the World Series, Andy Hnilo coming up to talk about that. There's a lot. Hey, by the way, it's the sports equinox today, Darren. All 4 major leagues have a game, at least one game. NHL, NBA, MLB, NFL, whatever it is, all 4 of them. It's the 31st time in the history of the world that it's happened, just so you know. Happy Sports Equinox Day. That's today. We'll be right back on Game Plus, Key Radio, live streaming on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
The 80s Club, live in Moose Jaw. Honeymoon Suite, along with a flock of seagulls. Men without hats. And spoons. All together for one night at Moose Jaw Event Center, Saturday, November 16th. Tickets on sale now at sastih.ca or the Moose Jaw Event Center box office.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit. As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
The Jolly Good RP Show continues. By the way, folks, is your skincare starting rotation giving up big hits to wrinkles, age spots, and acne scars? Revitalize your self-care roster with Alitura's all-natural lineup of nourishing products. Check it out at alitura.com. Use promo code RP20, by the way, for 20% off. Andy Hnilo is the founder of Alitura. Former baseball great. He'll join us later to talk about the World Series. I'm here in Florida, as you see. Moose is in Toronto. And regarding what Brian from Edmonton was writing about earlier, I have it here, Darren. This is the breaking news of this Monday. Dave Dickenson will be back as the head coach and general manager of the Calgary Stampeders next season. Despite a disappointing 2024 season, in Calgary Stamps president Jay McNeil said today that Dickenson has earned another season guiding the CFL club. Stamps finished 5-12. And at the bottom of the West Division with the worst record in the CFL, missed the playoffs for the first time in 18 seasons. So listen, again, we don't know the inside goings on in Cal. I don't believe you do. So what I will say is this: how's this go over with the fan base? I can't. I don't know. Do they love Dave enough to give him another chance? This is a little shocking here to me today. You?
Yeah, a little bit. I wondered if there would be changes. We knew Dave was a little bit on the hot seat, but no matter what, you need to get this team into a better position and back into the playoffs pronto, as in next year. And so whoever you bring in, if you bring in another, coach and Dave's the GM, or you bring in a GM and he's the coach, or completely remove Dave, you're hiring a GM to come in and fix the roster and make moves and make sure this team's better. So you give Dave a chance. And I don't think you can just run it back and hope they play better. You need to make sure this roster is better moving into next season, and that'll be Dave's task. If he doesn't do that, then I imagine the leash will be pretty short.
Like I say, it's a little early in the week to turn this show over to full yard sale, but that's what we have this time of year. For instance, Darcy in Grand Prairie, Alberta writes in and he says, let's get this World Series over with and fire up the Soto to Toronto rumors. Kirk in Toronto writes in and he says, hey, Rod, that Trump rally at MSG was huge. Go MAGA. Just full yard sale. And I'm not sure that I'm here for that today. What I can tell you, surfing through Twitter last night, there was 7 million viewers on Twitter alone of the Trump rally last night. So I'm ready to move on, trying to bring this back onto the grass. Tony from George Fox Country writes in, he says, Stamps fans should boycott, as if they aren't already. Half the stadium's empty. If it wasn't for the red seat season ticket holders, it would be empty. Their season's over. I'm done talking about the Calgary Stampeders. Believe me, I am. And as the week goes along, we'll look forward more to the CFL playoffs and talk about those. For those that have just checked in, like Brent in Wellington, Florida, Allie in Texarkana, where we started this chat an hour ago, it was a lot more fun at that time. It wasn't as much yard sale. I was saying, if you view your favorite team's season like a story, like a book, which is the way that you should, because that's the way the teams look at it. I'm not going to get into why they do. Just trust me, they do. What is your team's story? Is it a horror story? Is it a mystery? Is it a murder mystery? For me, the Dallas Cowboys, which is like the last remaining team that I cheer for, it's a comic book. It's Archie. It's Veronica. It's Betty. It's funny. The Calgary Stampeders book to me is a bank statement. It's an accounting statement. It's boring. The Miami Dolphins here with losing to the Cardinals on a last-second drive by the visiting Cardinals and Kyler Murray, and the Dolphins lost again. It's a bad book. You read 2, 3, 4 chapters. You're not finishing the book. I think we've all had those books.
Yeah.
This is a good one. Brent from Wellington, Florida says, going with a fairy tale, buddy. Go Pack, go. Packers have won 4 in a row. Dude.
Yeah.
It's not a fairy tale. It's a fantasy. Malik Willis comes in last night, and he was there. Packers at Jacksonville yesterday. Packers have won 4 in a row. Jordan Love gets hurt, and they don't even miss a beat. Allie in Texas says, we are cooked. Whoever wins in a few weeks. I'm not sure what that means, but it's funny. What was your Titans? What was their storybook? I can't remember.
Yeah, I was talking about Super Dave, the TV show, but it's actually one of those create your own endings. Except it's a gotcha at the end of it. If Will Levis throws another interception, go to page 6. If Will Levis fumbles the football, go to page 6. Yes, that's the Tennessee Titans.
I don't know. It's a fun discussion. More fun than Trump's rally in New York or a rumor of Juan Soto going to the Blue Jays. This is what I would rather talk about rather than that. In the hockey seasons, it's just far too early. Who was the team I said is the pop-up book when we were kids? Remember, you open it and pop.
Surprise. Yeah.
It pops up on. Yeah, what team was that? Who was that? Oh, the Browns.
The Browns.
Thank you, Tuna Turner. Tuna, that shocked us all. If for the Leafs, I get it that it is Groundhog's Day. People have started to take it. Nobody can stay on point. We know that, right? They can't stay on topic. They can't, and that's fine. They started, you were the guy that took it to the TV show, and that's also fine. Allie says, I love Pick Your Own Adventure. LOL. I did too. I remember, I don't know how old you were when if you first remember Pick Your Own Adventure. I was in grade 4, so 9. Literally had that book, and I went from page 3. It said Pick Your Own Adventure, so I skipped to the back. My mom gave me hell for going straight to the back. She's like, you need to read the whole book. And I'm like, Mom, no, it's Pick Your Own Adventure. She didn't understand.
Yeah, you
That's
could
when
read
they
the
came
book
out. Was about
like
1980.
6, 8, 10, 12 different times because it's a different story each time. You know, you read a quarter of the book each time you pass through it. It was Batman for me, and yeah, grade 3 or 4. Batman was my first pick your own adventure.
Yeah. Tonight, while we're at it, we might as well play NHL breakaway bets here. I feel like I need to put a little more effort into keeping things on the rails. But again, it's Sports Equinox Day today. Only the 31st in the history of the world today. I mean, this is the prep that I do for this show. Y'all think I just show up here and look good every day like Darren? No. Somebody needs to do the prep. And it's Sports Equinox Day today. All 4 leagues are playing. NFL, MLB, NHL, NBA. It's kind of surprising to me that it's only happened 30 times in the history of the planet before today, but it is. And yesterday, Darren and I both kind of sucked in our NFL deal or no deal picks, where we went against the point spread or the picks. Darren had 4 right. I had 7 right. Tonight in the NHL, are you ready to go with the picks, Moose?
Yeah.
Edmonton at Columbus. What you thinking there?
Oilers tonight.
That was very confident of you. I'm thinking
Yes.
Columbus because the Oilers were playing on a back-to-back night, and Columbus is better out of the barn, out of the gate than I expected anyways. Florida at Buffalo, this is a definite Cats romp over the Sabres tonight. That's how I feel, but how about you?
I'm going to go with Buffalo tonight for the upset.
Okay. The featured poll question today is what's the game of the night in the NHL? Mine is Nashville at Tampa Bay. It's Steven Stamkos' return. It's a big deal amongst all 7 of us, right, Brent? Us Florida hockey fans. Stamkos returns to Tampa tonight. Who do you think will win?
I know. This is so tough. You know, Nashville's playing better, but it's in Tampa, right? So I'm going to go with Tampa.
Yeah. Mine jumping all over here. I'm going with Tampa, too. Remind me about the Panthers Den podcast I was on the weekend. Leafs at Jets tonight. I'll take Winnipeg to keep winning. You?
Yeah, I said I was going to take Winnipeg until they lost, so I'm rolling with the Jets, too.
Okay. Chicago at Colorado. I'll take the Avs. They seem to have
I'll
found
take the
their way. I'll
Blackhawks.
take Colorado. Okay. San Jose at Utah. Sharks the only team in NHL history to start 2 seasons winless in 9. Way to go. I'll take Utah tonight. You?
Yeah, give me Utah.
Calgary at Vegas. I'll take the Golden Knight.
Okay, I'll take the Flames. That's nice.
All right. You seem to you've won quite a bit with these Flames lately, so. And Carolina at Vancouver. I got the Canucks. How about you?
Yeah, I'll take Carolina tonight.
Perfect. Okay, everybody, play along with yourselves. We call it sport betting. We pick the games and don't put any money on the line. Patrolman Pete in Winnipeg writes in and says, prayers up for Sabre Zach Benson, who's recovering from lower body injury. Oh, my God, prayers be with Zach. Been on this show, friend of the show, good guy. Tony from Cochrane says the storybook for the Browns. Yeah, thank you for the reminder. Tony from Cochrane says Cleveland Browns storybook is the Holy Bible. So, that's a good one. I went on the Panthers Den podcast this weekend with the host, Bill. It was really good. The guy knows his hockey. But it was like word association or rapid fire round, Darren. And he goes, okay, Rod, you pick one. Winter Classic or Stadium Series? I'm like, what's the difference? And I said it respectfully. I didn't want to be a jerk, but like, literally, what is the difference? And the funny thing is, he goes, I don't know. Do you know the difference between the Winter Classic and I know the Heritage Classic are the outdoor games in Canada, but Stadium Series versus
the only thing
Winter
I know
Classic,
the Winter Classic is usually on New Year's Day.
That's what he said. That's what he said. And I said, for that reason, I'll go with Winter Classic. As a longtime Dallas Stars fan, when my dad was with them for so many years, to see them play in the Cotton Bowl a number of years ago on New Year's Day, that was pretty cool. So I'll say Winter Classic because of the New Year's Day thing. Allie says, by the way, I think the Stars as a book would be, Oh, the Places You Will Go, since they are in Finland this week for the Global Series. We'll take it. Any final thoughts from you before we turn it over to some baseball?
Hockey thing. I was watching the new documentary on Amazon. If you haven't seen it, I think it's called Face Off in the NHL, and each episode's on a different player. I'm on episode 3, and it's all about Matthew Tkachuk and his dad and living in Florida, how great it is. And he bought himself a golf cart. He drives everywhere in the golf cart. It looks like it goes like 40 mile an hour. And he compared it to the Jeeps. I know you with the Jeep wave, all the Jeeps wave at each other. He said it's the same with golf carts. So I'd love to have the golf cart in Florida.
Everybody down here drives these golf carts. Not me. I don't live in the ritzy Fort Lauderdale area, but that's the thing down there. Enjoy the games tonight, Moose.
Thank you. You too.
I haven't seen that video of which he speaks, but I've seen enough clips of it. I feel like I have seen it all as posted by the Panthers because it's all about the Panthers. But we're going to talk some World Series. Get your questions in next with Andy Hnilo. We're live on Game Plus TV, WQEE Radio, live streaming on YouTube, and in podcast form at Apple and Spotify.
From cash spiels to Grand Slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Episode 1 launches November 1st.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit. As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Welcome back, everybody. The New York Yankees sending righty Clark Schmidt to the hill tonight as they try to hit the win column in Game 3 of the World Series. The visiting Los Angeles Dodgers, who are up 2-0, will counter with righty Walker Buehler. Dodgers won the opener 6-3 in 10 innings Friday, followed it up a night later with a 4-2 victory. Baseball guy, let's bring him in. I can't wait to chat with him. Andy Hnilo, baseball guy, founder of Alitura Skincare. Hey, Andy, the last time you were on, you said it was all lining up to a Subway Series, and the Dodgers created a hairpin turn. And here we are, man. Your thoughts on this wild ride?
You know, that's exactly what it is. It's baseball is such an unpredictable game, but momentum is the key with that initial walk-off from Freeman just setting the tone. Fernando Mania, bless his heart, rest in peace, Mr. Valenzuela. You know, it just seems like the cards are lined up for the Dodgers, right? But being a Bay Area, Northern California, born and raised a Giants fan, I just can't do it. That's why I'm breaking out the Soriano bat. I mean, we got to break. Hey, let's go, Yanks. Let's wake up the bats. Aaron Boone on that flight home had to be, you know, as passionate as he is. Just we need those bats to ignite. And I think it happens tonight versus Walker Buehler. And that, you know, unless he gets that off speed going, he's starting to generate some, you know, hesitation with the curveball and change up and then locating his fastball. But if he can't locate that, look for Juan Soto. Giancarlo Stanton is on time. When he's on time, he's dangerous. And then Aaron Judge, if we can just get that breakthrough, because the last thing we want to see is someone with the accolades during the regular season. I mean, as legendary as he's been compiling a statistical year after year, but the last thing we want is to have that cloud hang over his career, is kind of not being able to put it together in the postseason. Let's get it together right now, Judge. What do you think, Rod?
Well, what I think is, it sounds to me like you feel the criticism on Aaron Boone is justified coming out of Game 1. Am I right in that assumption? You feel it's warranted?
It's tough. You know, it's baseball. Can't really throw Aaron Boone under the bus. I mean, I really like how the Dodgers responded. I mean, they were not missing hittable pitches. They squared up everything they saw. Teoscar Hernandez is starting to get on time. It's a beautiful game. We have talent stacked lineups on both sides. But I just really am looking for the Yankees to give us a little bit of a lift with the fans being back home in the Bronx. It should be exciting tonight.
Well, that's what my gal Serena said. She's like, if the Yankees win, here they come. They're going to win this thing. But I'm like, well, if the Dodgers win, it's over. In your history in baseball, how much does the venue affect wins and losses, especially this time of year?
In my opinion, it's everything. I mean, how badly does New York want Yankees to seal it in and develop that momentum, get back where they were with just that electricity, Jazz Chisholm coming in. Once Volpe picks it up, I just feel like just getting more base runners, getting more disruption on the base pass, and then just getting, more chances for Soto and Stanton to capitalize. And, hopefully Rizzo will be in the lineup tonight. We got a righty on the bump. So just looking for the people that have proven themselves in the past historically in delivering in the playoffs, and especially the World Series with Rizzo. It should be exciting, but we're down 2-0. That's why we're breaking out the Soriano bat. We need a little juju. Obviously I'm a little biased right now but it's just, it's a fun time. I think you'd agree.
Hats for bats. Hats keep bats warm. We all know. Ryan in upstate New York writes in and he says, yes, Judge's bat needs to drink some coffee and wake up. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about sports, baseball or otherwise, Andy. Your best players need to be your best players in order to win. And I guess, is it just on Judge? Like, if the Yankees don't pull this thing out, who's going to wear the goat horns in your mind?
Somebody unpredictable. I would say Chisholm. I can just sense his confidence at the plate. Judge is that he's out in front of the fastball, out in front of the curveball, and late on the fastball. So he's in between right now. But I'm sure he's putting in a lot of work, a lot of video work, just kind of getting on point with predictability in certain counts. I just with a person of his talent, I just in these next couple of games, I think it's crucial that he just starts to square up the baseball and get his timing back, because he's a game changer, as we all know. And but without him, in the momentum that the Dodgers have right now with everybody, Mookie really starting to show up big time. Shohei, if he can just, if his left shoulder's on point, just as matter, if he's a threat at the plate and he's a threat on the base paths as well. So it's going to be tough, but it should be exciting tonight.
Well, that's what makes it so exciting. And I can tell you're big on the universe and the flow, and the Dodgers do have something going on. Obviously, the Fernando Valenzuela thing. Well, you say, well, we're going to find out which force will the force be with the Yankees tonight. I'm trying to land the plane by saying Shohei Ohtani is going to play tonight, and I wonder how hurt you think he is after the shoulder injury in Game 2.
Now, with technology these days, I'm sure they had him on ice and stim. I'm sure he may not be 90%. I believe it was a minor injury. So with, different capabilities and the adrenaline for the World Series, I just feel like he's a threat no matter what. Batting practice today, I'm sure they're going to have a glimpse on him. It'd be interesting to see how he's squaring up the ball. But then again, it's just, he's a threat at the plate, even at 80%. I mean, he's better than 90% of the players in the game. And once he gets on first base, he's a threat on the base paths as well. And he didn't hurt himself. That's not going to affect his speed, I don't believe. So it just, he can still affect the game in many ways.
Okay. Well, I know you'll be taking a big shot at Joe Boo's rum before the game and hoping that the Yankees pull this thing out. Where I want to go next with this, Andy, is this. A lot of our viewers wrote in and said, as soon as you had Andy on from Alitura, my browser's been full of Alitura ads all over, and mine too. So let's take it across the finish line and say, hey, why should they click on it? What are they going to get when they order Alitura?
No, Alitura is my daughter. Like, it's my everything. I was hit and run over by 2 cars. I created a product to heal myself that's now in 95 countries with a full line of 17 products. Alitura is Latin for feeding and nourishing. Your skin being your largest organ, you want to treat it and apply clean ingredients. Your skin is your largest detoxifying organ. Why would we ever put toxins on top of it, disrupting that process? So you can feel confident clicking on that link, heading on over to our store and checking out all of our products and our ingredients, knowing that I formulated them to perfection in cleanliness of ingredients without toxins. So it's a big creative outlet for me that healed myself, that is now helping hundreds of thousands of people worldwide. And I'm just, going to stay the course with formulating clean products, because I just am disappointed with what's on store shelves these days.
Yeah. And I apologize for cutting you off there, but here's the thing. I've seen these ads too, and there's a lot of options. So what's a good starter product to be the first thing that somebody were to order from Alitura?
Yeah, the gold serum outsells every product by 5 times. I mean, it's really the best concentrated moisturizer if you're looking for healing and hydration throughout the day. It has the best from cutting-edge organic botanicals combined with clean anti-aging skin active ingredients like copper peptide, astaxanthin, CoQ10, marine collagen, and plant-derived vitamin A that we source from France. It's a concentrated form of alfalfa, which is a plant-derived vitamin A, which has similar benefits to retinol without the sun sensitivity and harsh side effects. So it's just it's a perfect serum. We're not using any water in that formula. So if you're looking for one product to test out, that would definitely be it.
All right. Thanks for answering my questions, my guy. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll bring you back whenever this thing is over, and we'll wrap it up.
Let's go.
All right. Baseball guy Andy Hnilo and the founder and creator of the world-famous Alitura. We'll be right back. Get that text line going, brought to you by Alitura Skincare, 902-518-3033. Viewer takeover is next, and a sports update. We're live on the Game Plus television network, which I just saw on the weekend. We're in 8.5 million homes in Canada alone. How about that? One of you needs to try out Alitura, at least. Use the promo code RP20 for 20% off. We're also on the radio, WQEE, live streaming on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
From cash spiels to Grand Slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Episode 1 launches November 1st.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit. As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
right, everybody. We are back for overtime. You know who brings us overtime. Our good friends at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. And hockey teams, are you looking for the perfect place for your team bonding, outings, and sessions? Look no further than Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. They got state-of-the-art equipment, spacious shooting lanes, and games for all ages. They're the perfect place to build teams, whether you're from the Calgary area or on the road from out of town. Book your lanes today, 28th Street Northeast, Calgary. Text line 902-518-3033 is brought to you by Alitura Skincare. You just saw the owner and founder, Andy. What a guy, isn't he? Let's check in on that. Scott in Moose Jaw writes in. He says, remember 2 months ago I said Columbus will be better than people think. I got him picked to beat the Oilers tonight. Steve in Steinbach, Manitoba writes in. He says, Bombers 2024 suspenseful right to the end. Well, you can thank your lucky stars, I guess, that they finished first, and you can sit back and watch the Western semifinal this weekend. Who would you rather play, Steve? Watching on Game Plus TV, the Riders or the Lions? I know the answer to that. The Lions. Laverne in Swift Current writes in. He says, hey, Rod, hope you had a good weekend. Just picked up my Rider playoff ticket. Excited about the game on Saturday. Come on, Saskatchewan, let's have a sellout. Scott writes in. He's in Saskatoon. He says, with both Vernon Adams and Nathan Rourke under contract next year, what's the asking price for a trade? I'm going to tell you something. That's a tough one to answer because I saw on the weekend someone say, or was it Jim Barker on this show, that the contract for Nathan Rourke is guaranteed. So that's going to be a tough one to take on. $800,000 next year is what they're going to pay Nathan Rourke. You're welcome. For the guy that they've decided can't play in the playoff. That should be an easy contract to move. Here, would you take this? Would you take him? Assuming Nathan Rourke isn't the guy. Here's the thing. It's too early, Scott, to answer that. We need to see how the playoffs play out. Maybe VA, perhaps the bed in the playoffs, and Nathan in Sask on Saturday, and so then they bring in Nathan Rourke off the bench at halftime and rallies them to win. All of a sudden, he's not available. It's too early to ask that question. Thank you for allowing me to speak it out. Makes sense now. Joel writes in. He says, hey, Rod, my wife Wendy and I met and talked with you at the Wolseley fundraiser reception at the Garden Club. Yes, you were nice enough to allow me to sit with you. I remember, Joel. He says, the event was great. Thanks for supporting Wolseley. Anyway, you mentioned you're thinking of watching The Joker Part 2. Save your pennies. Unless you like theater popcorn, the sequel is a letdown. Probably going to go anyways because I'm looking for something to do this afternoon. But thank you, Joel. I would go for the food. All I can say is from every single person I've heard, yourself, John, like 4 or 5 people have set my bar very, very low for The Joker fully Part 2, however the hell they say it. That's disappointing. I'm still going to go. You know me. I do my own thing. Arlen Bruce writes in, great morning, RP. Hopefully the new commissioner can reinstate my son, Arlen Bruce IV, and revive his self-esteem and confidence to play professional football. Love you, man. Love you, AB. Isn't that something? I could have spent the whole 2 hours on the Randy Ambrosie thing and probably should have spent more the time than we did. I'm hoping that it's going to be Mike Morreale, the next commissioner. Yeah, we don't have time to delve into this. So many things go on in the CFL that I don't know if it's the commissioner or if he's just acting on behalf of the owners. Do the owners not want Arlen Bruce in because of his the fourth, because of his college football gambling violation? They're going to make him pay till the end of time? Or is it Ambrosie? If we're going to put this all on Ambrosie, then that's why the job pays so much, I guess. Again, we'll wait and see who the next commissioner is. By the way, here's the breaking news on this Monday. Dave Dickinson will be back as the head coach and general manager of the Calgary Stampeders next season, despite a disappointing 2024 campaign where the Stampeders finished dead last in the CFL and out of the playoffs for the first time since, in 19 years. Jay McNeil, the president, said today that Dickinson has earned another season guiding the team. There are 8 games on the NHL slate tonight with 5 Canadian teams in action. The Jets host the Leafs. The Oilers visit the Blue Jackets. The Golden Knights host the Flames. And the Carolina Hurricanes visit the Vancouver Canucks. Meanwhile, Steven Stamkos will enter Amalie Arena tonight for the first time as a visitor as his Nashville Predators face the Tampa Bay Lightning in NHL play. Stamkos was the first overall pick for the Lightning in 2008. Played his first 16 seasons in Tampa, winning a pair of Stanley Cup. Pittsburgh Steelers looking to improve to 6-2 as they host the 2-5 New York Giants on Monday Night Football. And there are 11 games in the NBA tonight, including the Raptors, who will be aiming to get back to 500 against the winless Denver Nuggets. Sports update brought to you by Landmark Cinemas and their rewards program, Landmark Extras. Get more of what you love. Free movies and concession items, invites to exclusive screenings, special events, and more. There are 3 rewarding programs to choose from that get you something extra with every movie purchase you make. Check out landmarkcinemas.com and sign up today. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, Andy Hnilo. Thank you, Jim Lang. And most of all, you. Have a good one.
McFly, hello.